Hello and welcome to Cameroonian Grace Militaria. I'm Ian Stevenson and I'm going to be talking about my militaria. So last week I made a video on this World War One 91st Infantry Division summer cotton tunic. And today I'm going to be talking about this 7th Infantry Division engineer's jacket tunic. So what was the 7th Infantry Division and what did they do during World War One? Well, here. So they were activated on December 6th, 1917 at Camp Wheeler, Georgia, eight months after the U.S. involvement, into entry into World War One. They went over to France and came under heavy fire at the Meuse-Argonne, or at St. Miel in the Meuse-Argonne, right here. That's about where it was. And they were gassed a lot too. Parts of the 7th went up near Pryny, near the Moselle River, up there. It's about on this map. I can't get a pinpoint, but anyway, they captured positions and drove the Germans out of the region. The 7th Division, that part of the 7th Division, got this patch at this time. The division was ready to assault the Hindenburg Line, but the war was over before that happened. After the war, they served occupational duties in Germany, which is there. So that's a little history of what they did over in France. This came with the uniform, a piece of German shell, and a piece of German barbed wire, probably from St. Mihiel, on his bootlace, on an original World War One bootlace. So let's get on to the uniform. So this uniform has the wool patch or felt patch, theater made. Has the sevens here, or double seven. Here and then here. They were nicknamed the Hourglass Division because of this patch. As you can see, it looks like an hourglass, but it's two sevens, one right side up and one upside down, with a red background, as you can see. Nowadays they're subdued patches, but this was what it looked like during World War One, because this is a World War One patch, of course. And then if we go down here, down to the red honorably discharged chevron here. Only honorably discharged people, which was a lot of people, most people, got these during World War One. They were most likely put on after the war for parades and stuff like that. And then down here is the chevron to tell how long you spent overseas in France, which this is 3 months, because it's a smaller chevron than a regular 6-month time period chevron, which, like this one, this one is a 6-month chevron here, and this one's 2 chevrons, so he would have spent a year over there. 6 months plus 6 months equals 12 months. Anyway, I'm glad I can do math. Anyway, so this guy served 3 months overseas, which is probably normal for service over in France at that time. This is a 1918 made model 1912 jacket because of the thinner seam here, much closer to the edge of the jacket than this 1917 made one here. This one's wider, as you can see. As you can see here, also has the lining, which is a nice lining, so the soldier wouldn't scratch to death, I guess, or be itchy to death. This is actually a nice, fine wool for an NCO. non-commissioned officer, which would have been corporals and sergeants. As you can see here, he was a sergeant. But the way I can tell that he was in the engineers is this collar tab here, which is on my left, your right. So this has the castle, which signifies the engineers. If it had crossed rifles, that would be infantry, and so on. And then here's the U.S. collar disc on my right, your left, for being in the U.S. Army. Most U.S. soldiers over in France would have had that stand-up collar. Now the blackened buttons, these were also blackened, but the blackened brass buttons are blackened, so as you might have guessed, for camouflage. Unlike this Spanish-American War one, which had the brass buttons that were brass colored, gold colored, they would have been shot more by snipers and the like, because they would have been seen better. But in World War One, they changed to blackened brass buttons because they didn't want to be shot by snipers, apparently. I guess. Anyway, so I was going through the jacket pockets as I always do, and I found. One second, sorry. An E for engineers. This most likely would have been on a pendant in the camp, for saying this was the engineers camp or tent or whatever, which is pretty interesting. It's a red E for engineers. Would have been in the 7th Infantry Division camp, most likely. And then we also have his promotion, I guess, but he never put it on. He still has his other stripes here, chevrons. It doesn't look like he put them on. Probably the war ended and didn't have a chance, or just didn't put them on because the war ended, or they went back to the U.S. after occupational duties and he just didn't put it on. But it's an interesting piece of history there. Oh, and also we have a tag in here, which you can see here. Under this. It's upside down, sorry. But it says Schloss Brothers and Company, Baltimore, Maryland. Baltimore, Maryland Depot. 1918, as I think it says. Looks like. And then under that it says William Panuska, which is probably the inspector that inspected that in the depot. Should probably look that guy up. Anyway, this is a nice 7th Infantry Division engineer's jacket from World War One. Please like if you like this video, and obviously please leave a thumbs down if you didn't like this video, but I hope you liked this video. Anyway, if you want to learn more about Militaria, please hit the subscribe button down below, and have a good rest of your day.